Hey everybody, it's now time for my daytime real life gray and blue sweatsuit with zipper superhero intro for various reviews, rants, and other topics. This is a special daytime version with the same costumes and the same intro songs, only this time reverse. In this version, the new Netflix song I debuted in the previous Netflix Something You Can Never Own song I debuted in the previous video that will play as the intro, and my walkout song will once again be Jeff Hardy's Modest to the Top in this version. The second version will be the same thing, with Kurt Angle's theme being my walkout song, and my taunts and mannerisms will be the same. They will be similar to Teddy Hart, Monty Brown, Bobby Lashley, Hulk Hogan, the Sonic character Knuckles, and finishing it off with Ryu's Hadouken. So once again, you're wondering where I got the song Netflix. You can find it easily here on YouTube, but if you want to know, just message me, and I'll give you the link to the song, or tell you how to find the song. But the song is Netflix, Neeflex. That's the name of the band. That's the name of the band or singer that performs it, and the song is called Something You Can Never Own. I got the song from a YouTube user named Andy Mellon, who does a lot of anime and abridged series reactions. So, with that being said, let me get started right now.
Don't wanna sleep in, cause I got something to prove. I gotta take what I hate and finally make a move. I think of you and all the shit you gon' do. Well, I'ma make hella sure that I don't become you. Have no regrets, yeah, outside of my chest. I'll never forget what it's like to be in debt. Been stabbed in the back bed, I'll show you what happens. Pass me the mic and I'll show you with action. I feel this pain, you already know. Turn that to gains, let my money show. I've got these things that I can't let go. Watch me turn this life into something that you could never own. I feel this pain, you already know. Turn that to gains, let my money show. I've got these things that I can't let go. Watch me turn this life into something that you could never own.
Hey everybody, it's now time for my part 4 real life superhero on camera webcam Season 1 review of the 1980s sci-fi action Ruby Spears classic cartoon, The Centurions. Finally, just like with part 1, finally it's been completed. I put all reviews on hold to do this. Gonna talk briefly a bit about some Centurions trivia. Then I'm gonna make my grand entrance. Then I'm gonna play the intro and make my grand entrance and continue the rest of the video from there. The episode 8, Denver is Fallen, season 1 episode 8 will play in the background. I apologize for the lighting. I can never get the right lighting, and I apologize if my voice is not high enough or is too high. In the previous one, it was unfortunately too high because I was afraid of, in previous reviews which have now been deleted, the videos block the sound effects in the background blocked off my accidentally drowned out my voice. You could barely hear me. You could mostly hear the sound effects. Then I decided to remedy this problem by turning the sound effects, the sound effects in the background down. But however, I was accidentally talking too loud. So I apologize for that. If I have either of those problems. Hopefully I don't have either of those problems in this review, especially since I'll be far away. I'll be down there where you see the bags and boxes and stuff. So yeah, Centurions, like I said in the part 1 narration, discovered Centurions in the mid 90s when it made its grand premiere on Cartoon Network's Action Block. The Power Zone, and I watched it on and off on Cartoon Network and later Boomerang in the early to mid to late 2000s, and finally got to rewatch the series in episode order in 2012, and now I'm currently watching it series. Even though this is a review of season 1, I'm already on season 4. I've done seasons 2 and 3, which I'm going to tell you already. They were already awesome, but I got to rewatch them to remember everything that happened. Because Centurions, one of the reasons I didn't review it back a decade ago when I saw it, when I got to rewatch the cartoon, was there was just so much happening that it wasn't enough for a long review. Which is why I came up with the idea for the short narration intro and then a larger off and on camera webcam version. So yeah, and to see that previous webcam version, it's on my channel, with the link will be in the description box below. But yeah, the Centurions, created by producer Larry Huber and Ruby Spears Productions, and was written by the late Matt Reeves, Larry DiTillo, and many other writers who are still alive. What was his name? Norio Shirayama did the character designs, and Gil Kane also contributed designs and concepts of the show. So did comic book artist Jack Kirby. Both of them are now deceased. The other writers were Gary Conway, who's still alive, and Mark Scott Zickery, with the opening narrations from the William Woodson, the late William Woodson, who's also the Super Friends director, and it featured the voices of the legendary Mike Bell, Jennifer Darling, the late great Vince Edwards, who voiced Jake Rockwell. In the narration, I accidentally credited him as the voice of Ace McCloud, but no, he voiced the Yellow and Black Centurion, the Land Centurion, Jake Rockwell. Ron Feinberg, who voiced the main antagonist, Doc Terror. Pat Fraley, the late Ed Gilbert voiced Hacker, the second in command. Diane Fisher, and B.J. Ward. One of them voiced Crystal, or what's the woman's name? Crystal Kane. Crystal Kane, and Doc Terror's daughter, whose name I already forgotten. I think her name isn't her name Crystal? Wasn't her name Crystal too? Hold on.
Amber. Amber was her name. I accidentally said her name. Her name was Crystal, but it's no, it's Amber. Amber was her name. So yeah, yeah. So with that being said, let me start the video and make my grand entrance on camera right now.
In the near future, Doc Terror and his cyborg companion hacker unleash their forces to conquer Earth. Only one force can stop this evil, a handful of brave men. In specially created exobrains, they can be transported anywhere. To fuse with incredible assault weapon systems, being down from the space station Skybolt. Becoming man and machine.
Oh, extreme.
Max Ray, brilliant sea operations commander. Jake Rockwell, rugged land operations specialist. Ace McCloud, daring air operations expert.
Whatever the challenge, they are ready. The Centurions. Yeah, like I said, in the off-camera intro, I gave you my history with the Centurions. I give you my personal history of the Centurions. But my actual introduction to the Centurions, the actual history of the Centurions. The show debuted as a 5-part season 1 miniseries in 1986. Then the rest of the series, the next 60 episodes aired as season 2 throughout the rest of 1986. The show, according to Marvelous Videos, his reviews was a huge inspiration on my reviews. His review says the show was canceled, and one of the reasons it wasn't popular reviews because it focused way too much on science. Which I gotta partially agree with. As much as I love the themes and the science, there's a lesson and a moral and a science lesson at the end of every episode. That made it difficult to tell what's going on. Yes, I want the complex plot, but I just want to see machine guys in armor beating the daylights out of each other. We wanted action entertainment, and that was one of the reasons why the show didn't last. Then I mentioned it got a second chance on Cartoon Network, where it proved to be popular. It was considered a success, but it wasn't considered good enough for a revival. I think this show would have been good enough for a revival had it been on Cartoon Network's newest action block on Toonami. It should have had the Real Adventures of Johnny Quest's spot. Yeah, Real Adventures of Johnny Quest, that should have been on Cartoon Network. This should have been on Toonami. This is on Toonami. This also should have been on the newer Toonami in 2012. So Centurions. Centurions. It started with a toy line, which I've seen. Their toy line was okay. Then they had a short comic book. Prequel. I don't know which came first, but they had a 4-part comic book miniseries. I don't know which came first, the comic book or the cartoon. Cartoon is way better because it lasted longer, but there's some things the comic book did when it came to their personalities and putting the Centurions in more realistic situations. But cartoon is better. It lasted longer. And got to do more with its 65 plus episode series. So like in the part 1, in the part 3 webcam version, this is going to consist of episodes 1 through 13, which were phenomenal. You had the 5-part miniseries, which was a phenomenal start, and then you had episodes 6 through 13, which were also phenomenal, with episodes 3 through 5, 8, 10, and 11 through 13 being the supreme best. And the weakest is actually the first episode, number 1. Number 1, episode was phenomenal start, but Doc Terror's plan was dumb and was contradictory to his actual plan and plot to the series. The series is about Doc Terror, half human, half machine Doc Terror, and his henchman Hacker, and his daughter, who occasionally assists him, Amber. Together, they want to take over the world and enslave and turn everyone into cyborgs. Standing in the way of his goal is the sci-fi military team, the Centurions, the Centurions, a military force that combines man and machine with the three characters: Max Ray, the level-headed leader; Jake Rockwell, the headstrong, impulsive land expert, with Maxwell Ray being the sea expert, and the aerial expert, the air guy, Ace McCloud. Together, they raise their hands in the air they say power extreme, and they transform into these armored warriors capable of doing all sorts of things and going various task missions. Each episode they deal with Doc Terror and Hacker, who tries to enslave the world with some plan. Some episodes they deal with other bad guys who either form a partnership with Doc Terror or sometimes are unrelated to Doc Terror. So this show was its own gigantic Marvel and DC comic book shared comic book universes consist of not only machine people, but witches, aliens, a sea warrior named Mako, who reminds me of Merman from He-Man. Foreigners, dark cults, and mercenaries with the same abilities as the Centurions. That's what they deal with all in this seasons. The witches and the psychics, that's in the other seasons. But I just had to mention it was his own, what's his name? It's the comic books mixed with the action movies of the old, like Commando, Mad Max, Die Hard, Sylvester Stallone's Cobra movie, Rambo, Terminator, and Predator, and this show was a huge inspiration of the show. I heard a lot about this, but I didn't look it up till recently, and that's legendary actor Tom Selleck's series Magnum P.I. One fan in the comment section jokingly called this Tom Selleck and his amazing friends, because the main character leader, Maxwell Ray, who has the green and black exosuit armor, he bears a striking resemblance to Tom Selleck, a popular Olympic swimmer from that time. And what's the other dude? He also bears a striking resemblance to MMA fighter and wrestler Don Fry. But this is a decade before Don Fry became a thing. Don Fry was still technically in college when this show was on, high school or college when this show was on. So the Centurions. What about the Centurions? Like I said in part one, lots of action. You got guns, you got aerial combat, you got sea vehicle combat, you got land vehicle combat, similar to the Mad Max films, land vehicle combat, and land vehicle combat and space combat with lasers, guns, and everything. It's awesome. Everything you wanted in the 80s everything you want in an 80s show. Love the camaraderie of the Centurions, the three characters. You got Maxwell Ray, the leader and the level-headed leader, the most mature and level-headed member of the group, who has the badass green and black exosuit. And like I said, he's the sea expert. Then you got Jake Rockwell. You got Jake Rockwell, the aggressive, violent, impulsive member of the group, who has some sort of a rivalry with the next guy, Ace McCloud, and he is the awesome land expert. And while he can walk around, he travels around with his giant wheelchair, with his giant Jetsons-like wheelchair maneuver, which is equipped with guns and stuff. He's also, like I said, the greatest hand-to-hand combat expert. He's also the most impulsive member. Then you got Ace McCloud, the aerial expert. Whenever they take it to the air or space, Ace McCloud is your guy. He has the blue, gray, and white exoskeleton. Jake Rockwell had the badass yellow and black. He's equipped with various guns and aerial based weapons, and he's also a womanizer, constantly flirting with every woman we're introduced to in the show. He hits on Crystal King, the lead female member of the group, and the Pepper Potts of the group. The Pepper Potts of the group. She designs the weapon. She's the weapons expert of the group. She equips the Centurions with their weapons. The Centurions with their weapons, and she occasionally goes on missions herself. These characters, along with the bad guys, Doc Terror and his henchman Hacker, whom he saved his life and made him into a cyborg, and his daughter Amber, are the characters you mostly see. But occasionally, other characters, like there's a character named Maylene, who occasionally reoccur this season and throughout the series. The show itself is I mentioned the animation in several scenes. It looks like in several scenes it looks like an anime. It looks like an anime because it was animated by the Sunrise Group, and then just like a lot of 80s cartoons, they made sure the intro, which is one of the coolest intros ever, they made sure that got you hooked to watch the rest of the series. The only things I didn't like about this show is that it has lots of action, but not a lot of hand-to-hand combat action, because the main bad guys, despite being machine, they're not physical threats to the Centurions. They got to make deals with other people, or Doc Terror has to make robots to go and kill them, or he has to find a way to get the Centurions out of their armor and kidnap them or separate them to defeat them. He has to do all these other technical things to be a threat to them. He's not physically a threat, despite being an awesome bad guy. So that there are various inconsistencies, including Doc Terror's plan in episode 1, where he wanted to use a firestorm to destroy all life on Earth and rebuild everyone as cyborgs. When, if he kills them, he can't rebuild them as cyborgs, because he can make people into cyborgs, but he can't kill people and resurrect them. He's not a sorcerer, like I said in part 1. That was the plot in episode 1. Episode 2, and unlike most Ruby Spears and Hanna-Barbera cartoons, this show does feature continuity. It does feature continuity with episodes. Characters, like I said, reappear, and previous events are referenced, and things do carry over to various episodes. It was only in episode 1. Carry over to various episodes. In episode 2, you get to learn where the Centurions' weapons are made, and they're made at an underwater civilization called SeaWorld, which is headed by a woman named Maylene and several other people. Then episode 3, my opinion, one of the greatest episodes. They take into space and fight a giant cat monster who absorbs energy. And throws it back at the Centurions. The Centurions have to defeat it by overloading with energy and killing it, giving us our first death in the series. Episode 4 reminds me of Jurassic Park. Jurassic Park and Two Rock Dinosaur Hunter, which is which is 6 to 10 plus years before those franchises existed, where the Centurions discover a lost civilization and they got to deal with some humans, some ancient humans who have the ability to control robotic dinosaurs that Doc Terror and Hacker take control of as they arrive first. Episode 5 takes the thing to Egypt. They deal with a guy named Nadine who has a partnership with Doc Terror and Hacker. Crystal Kane has a more active role in this episode. I don't remember what 6 was about, but I remember it being good, but not as good as the miniseries. Then you got the much superior episode 7, where they deal with a disgraced scientist who also has a pact with Doc Terror and Hacker. He turns on them towards the end of the episode, where he uses tornadoes to take over the he uses tornadoes to take over the artificially created tornadoes to take over the world. Episode 8, Denver is Falling. The episode you're listening to in the background, where the Centurions fight an Avengers-like mercenary team with abilities just like their own. With the leader who looks like Thor, and has abilities and weapons similar to Jake Rockwell, and together these members, they can fuse with each other and form a gigantic tank-like weapon. But all you have to do is blast the leader and separate it. The Sea Expert is a punk rocking dude who Max Ray deals with, and then there's a guy with wings attached to him, with a mechanical suit with wings attached to him, who's like Ace McCloud, who Ace McCloud deals with. In episode 9, where they deal with some foreign cult who wants some crystal and impersonates some doctor. You got episode 10, one of the scariest episodes of the series, where Doc Terror plants a giant plant-like board which takes over the city. So each building has giant mutant cybernetic plants growing out of the windows. I know this plot is out of some movie, but I can't remember what movie it was. I think it was Little Shop of Horrors, which I haven't seen, but I think I heard about. Being at episode 12, Battle Beneath the Sea. This is one of the episodes of Centurions I remember the most from my childhood, and the SeaWorld people return in this episode. Then you got episode 12, this takes us back to space. Then you got episode 13, where Doc Terror uses a kid to make a gigantic video game. To make a video game prototype, which is actually a robot specifically made to kill the Centurions, as the Centurions can't fight it head on. They have to outsmart the robot and jump from behind and tear out its circuits and stuff, and then together they have to band together as a team to defeat the Cyborg's new form, which is a small body with a head that looks like with a computer head that looks like a computer monitor for a head, with a face that looks like a woman. Yeah, I'll definitely be doing a post-episode review and reactions to explain more what these episodes were about. This was just a short overview and review of season 1, which was phenomenal. Like I said, season 1 was so awesome. I immediately started watching seasons 2 and 3, and now I'm on 4. Got to rewatch seasons 2 and 3 to give you my overview and reviews of those. Because like I said, so much is happening at one time, and it's hard to take in. But I'm prepared for it, because that means I get to talk about Centurions and more. Well, I talked about Centurions as long as I wanted to. You don't want to hear it? Oh yeah. To see the original parts, the links will be in the description box below, and they'll be on my channel. You don't want to hear the rest of the music? Turn the video off right now.
wanna sleep in, cause I got something to prove. I gotta take what I hate and finally make a move. I think of you and all the shit you don't do. Well, I'ma make hella sure that I don't become you. Have no regrets outside of my chest. I'll never forget what it's like to be in the back. I'll show you what happened. Pass me the mic and I'll show you with action. I feel this pain, you already know. Turn that to gains, let my money show.
Power extreme.
That I can't let go. Watch you turn this life into something that you could never own. I feel this pain, you already know. Turn that to gains, let my money show. I've got these things that I can't let go. Watch you turn this life into something that you could never own. So fight and shine for the things you know you love. Do what you think is right, and you like do what you want. So fight and shine for the things you know you love. Do what you think is right, and you like do what you want. So give me all the scars, I'm a human being. Cover them with tattoos so you can't see. Knew it from the start, you had problems with me and the things I could be, I just wish I had seen. I feel this pain, you already know. Turn that to gains, let my money show. I've got these things that I can't let go. Watch me turn this life into something that you can never own. I feel this